Hey guys, welcome to a Saturday or a Sunday stream. So on, I think it was Monday night that I said I was going to try and get on over the weekend earlier so that folks in Europe could actually not stay up till the middle of the night to catch one of my streams. So here I am. And it was kind of funny because about an hour ago, hour and a half ago when I scheduled this, Eric also got on to our mutual StreamYard account. There's 5 of us actually that own that account, and started a stream. And so he's like, "Oh no, am I stepping on Buck's?" And he's not. I actually crashed his stream. It was kind of funny, but we did. We set up StreamYard a couple of days ago for the 5 of us. I think it is awesome. I think it's great. Todd's done a lot of work. Todd being Model Phoenix. Actually, it's Model PX or PHX on YouTube. He did some great work. He's done banners. He's done title screens. He's done outros. Awesome work. Eric from Rascals Hobbies is part of it. Mark Schuh from Schumann's Model Shop is part of it. And then Donnie Dougherty from Donnie's Model Shop. Great bunch of guys. We will eventually have banners running across the bottom with, not with links so much, but with channel names so that people can actually go through and find these people. What we're going to do is we're still going to have our own individual identities, but when we do Hobby Time Modelers, when they are specific Hobby Time Modelers streams, any one of us will crash. Somebody may pop in, maybe only one of us, but it's a team effort. We're having a blast with this. It's a lot of fun, especially now that we have a full up suite to do this stuff with. Really, really a great tool. Can't say enough about what we've got with StreamYard. So let me flip over to the other camera and show what we're going to be working on. Or actually, this is going to show where we are at this point. If the camera, okay. So far, this was the first part, or actually, I believe these two were the first, most of the first book. These 2 parts, the hood, which goes on here like so, and the front fenders, or 3/4 of the front fenders. Then we got the stairs, along with the first part of the floor, and last Monday I did the front end, including the steering. Let me get these out of the way. And if you guys just heard that beep, that was Mark Schumann, one of the members of Hobby Time, one of the founding members of Hobby Time Modelers, saying, "Hey," on Discord. Let me get this out from under here so I've got somewhere to cut. And here is part 12. Yes. Left rear suspension and brakes. There's my scalpel. We've got a part of the frame here. And actually the frame, I looked in the next few issues or next few stages, the frame will build up quite a bit. Slide the rest of these parts out. There's a spring in here that doesn't want to come out. Sorry, I know this is more tedious for me than it is for you guys. This spring really doesn't want to come out. Let me do it this way. Careful not to cut any parts, that would suck. And of course I cut the wrong side. I can get the red towel out. I've got the red towel handy, Eric. This red towel? And if I get the red towel out, that means I got to get the Iron Man out, because that really sucks together. So yeah, Eric was actually, it was funny because the stream that he just ended, he was actually just popping on to test out multi-streaming, because we can stream up to 3 destinations at a time right now, or with StreamYard. And like I said, well, he had a lot of people popping on. Hey, John, welcome. He had a lot of people that were popping on that he didn't expect. I crashed the stream. It was a lot of fun. And it really having access to StreamYard, having a paid account is really awesome, because what we can do is random streams with multiple people anytime, since we have unlimited streaming capability now. Okay, so let me take a look at the parts, and of course, the way they are, the way the book is, they are far enough down that I can't read them. Actually, let me see. Let me bring down the size just a hair so I can see both the parts and the description. So this is the shock, or no, 12A. These are the shock dampers. And dopey me, I was doing the same thing Eric was doing. He said that was where he was talking about the towel. John popped in, and Eric said hey to him. This is one of the features of StreamYard I really like, is being able to put the chat on the screen. So left rear suspension arm, C, where is C? That is the suspension hinge. Left brake mount. How to do brake lines. That's funny. And you're talking on models, John? I have to check it out as well. Let's see, 12E is the brake lever. Is that it? No, that's not it. I don't think. That's because I'm looking at it. That's the brake lever, brake cylinder, brake line connector. And brake line connector times 2, 12G. These parts here. And John said yes for model cars. That is very cool. And as I build, I will lift these up a little bit higher so that you guys can really see them. 12H is a bracket. 12I is the control lever. Oh, 12I, this is the control lever, sorry. J is stiffener, spring, the brake line, and of course several screws. So let me see, HM. I need to do my first thing first, put away the screws so that I don't lose any. So 12, or HM, got 2 of them, which means I'm going to need 1. CM, you know what? Trying to cut them with a scalpel is a pain, especially when I have scissors right here. And this is where I start getting, it's going to get close pretty quick, because this screw box is not big enough for the number of screws that are going to end up coming in this kit. So the EP screws, tweezers. I just did what I do a lot of times, which is just shove the stuff over to the side. I actually need to really clean up my bench. There are certain people who would be horrified at my bench, but that's okay. Eric said he wants to do that kind of detail on the cars he's lined up, and he's talking about, he is building a diorama of a garage set. There's going to be several cars inside the garage. I am looking forward to that. brake lines, battery cables, the such. Yes, that is going to be really cool. I know you're on, I believe you're on a pause on that for supplies. And FM screws. And I'm willing to bet that even with just the first book done, I've probably put over 100 screws into this model. Pardon? Let's see. Yeah, and the same note as I've seen before, CM and DP screws are the same length and diameter. However, CM screws are fine machine threads that go into metal, while DP are self-tapping screws for plastic. Store them separately. So first step is you take the, what was this? This was the suspension arm and the brake mount. There's a couple of lugs here that this brake mount mounts onto. And it's, one side that's covered, one side that's open. And it will go in here just like this, and lining up these pieces to where they look like they continue straight on through the plastic. And there is just a single CM screw, because if you put a screw in here, it's not going to do much. I think there's another part that's going to go over top of that. So CM screw right there, meaning, so this part's metal, this part's actually plastic. And CM screw, hopefully, yeah, that should work. I'm still using the screwdrivers that came with the kit. Eventually, I will put them away. And of course, realized after I started putting the screw in, and it's already in, Todd from Model Phoenix suggested something, and so I bought it. And what I've got in here, you can see that's 3-in-1 oil. He didn't fill his up. I put the whole bottle in because it's the only thing I'm going to use it for. And you pump it. And I don't know if you saw that, but when you pump it, brings up a little bit of oil. The 3-in-1 oil isn't going to dry out, but other stuff, like if you were using it for alcohol, it would dry out, and you just have that little bit there. So next, the brake cylinder, 12F, and it has the butterfly piece. It's got 2 screw holes and a pin right here. They go into these 3 holes here. The pin will go in the one that's right here by my left fingernail, like so. For right now, 1 CM screw will be going right there. So like I didn't do before, you take the CM screw, dip it in the oil, and then put it in. Then the oil is just to make it go into the metal a little bit easier. And actually, that is a ton easier than the other one was. Very nice. It fits extremely well that way. And so on top of that, 12E, which is the brake lever, is going to go in here. And so this large hole is going to go with the keyway, is going to go on that spot where I said there was no screw. It's going to go on there. And the arm is actually going to go in between the openings, the forks on the cylinder itself. So it'll go on here, get in there. Not feeling the keyway catching. I'm just looking. Yes. So what's supposed to happen is that this screw hole will line up, as will the one on the fork here. CM will go up on top. A DP will go down here. John said, got a bunch of how-tos on his channel. Check it out because he does a lot of scratch building also. And I believe, isn't your channel John Paul on Facebook? Just John Paul? I want to say that's it. So what I've done, I put the CM screw in loosely after dipping it in the oil. The DP, I'm going to put in there before I tighten that one down. Because I want it, you know, I can't, like I said, I can't quite feel the keyway because of how the tolerance. You know, there's the problem. Let me take this screw back out. Yeah, John said that John Paul is his YouTube channel. So just saw, put that screw up here. May not be able to show it, may not be able to see it. You can kind of see it there. This is painted over. So first thing I got to do before I can get the DP screw in, and why it was looking like it wasn't lined up, let me clear some of this paint out of here. Yeah, that's a lot better. So now I can put this one back on. You know, it would help if I put it back on the right way. I had the keyway up. Now, when I get it on there lined up correctly, I should be able to see. Yeah, I can now. I can see the actual screw hole in there, so that I can put the DP screw in. Still not going to tighten it all the way down. I need to be able to move it a little bit, maybe. I'm not going to put oil on the screw that goes into plastic. Hopefully I don't overstress this. One of our dogs, Tyson, just came in. He is our French bulldog. He has ear issues right now, poor guy. Basically, he got cauliflowered ear because of a hematoma that he had. And yeah, let me loosen this back up because I can see underneath here, it actually didn't go into the plastic. What it did was it just pushed it down. Let me find something that will fit underneath there. If I had a flathead screwdriver, it would be best, but I'm not finding one. Let's see if I can get the blade from this underneath there to where it's going to hold up the plastic. It's probably the best it's going to get. It's not actually going to move. You can see right there, it's slightly gapped. So that's just in there for show. It's not going to move. So that part being a little bit, you know, not completely flat against the other part isn't going to be an issue. Let's see. So let me go on to step 5 of this part. And down here on the bottom here is where one of these brake line connectors goes on there. And there's 2 ways it can go. Okay. Let's see. So it's focused for half a second there. That side is smooth. That side, you can see it has a little bit of a ridge. So the ridge side has to go to the top. So it's going to go on here like that. And it's going to be attached with a DP screw. Let me see. Almost made a mistake. The DP screw is going to go on there and at the same time, the spring is going to go on here. Hey, Blue Streak, welcome to the stream. Eric said, hey. So the springs, unlike the other springs that have been on here before, this one has, earlier springs had the flat area for the spring where it connected were both on the same side. This one is on opposite sides so that you can connect at a higher location here and a lower location there. John said hey to Blue Streak. Blue Streak said hey to Eric. Everybody said hey all the way around. So like I said, I'm going to gently put this through here. Again, DP being a plastic, going into plastic screw. Okay, that's got that, and it lined up the other end of the spring is lined up perfect for the CM screw to go in there. So we get the CM, dip it in the oil. It's not 100% perfect, but it's close. See, maybe have to do a little bit of manhandling of that spring to get it to go in. There we go. So in here, in this jar, is 3-in-1 oil. What I'm doing, you know, a lot of the guys, well, Todd Marvel Phoenix actually told me about this jar. I hadn't seen one of these in a lot of years, but what that jar is it's a little pump jar filled up with the 3-in-1 oil. When I pump it, it just puts a little bit of oil up there in the top, and that makes the screws that are going into metal, this part is metal, it makes them go in just a little bit better. And I just realized I am way forward on my camera. And a lot of the guys who build the part works, when they're doing this, World of Wayne was the first one I saw doing it. He uses and Todd uses 3-in-1 oil. It makes, like I said, makes them go in a lot easier. I did use WD-40 for a short while, but the 3-in-1 is a whole lot better. Okay, so let me, the reason I'm looking back, you guys don't see it, but I'm looking back and forth between the screens. Over here on the left screen, I've got the manual as a PDF. They save us a little bit of cash by sending us PDFs or having us download the PDFs rather than pay for them to print them. Which I really love the way Agora does things. So this part here, which is the stiffener, position the pegs so each end is short, the shorter end fits in the hole. The whole circle. No, these are push fit. Okay, so these are push fit. So there's 2 pins on here. This pin and that pin there. And they should just push in there and stay without any problem. If they don't, I have my CA glue and a pin vise with a pin in it to apply the glue with. Another trick that I learned from Wayne over at World of Wayne. And I can see from looking at the back here that it is in there. I'm just curious. Now that should be good. Although I'm not positive it's, yeah, that's as far as it's going to go. That should be good. I don't think it's going to pop out. It shouldn't. Nothing should hit it. John just said Mark posted a video yesterday. I'm guessing Mark would be Blue Streak, because I think that's what you called him earlier. So once those are in there, the brake line, take the hollow brake line, run it along the length of the suspension. Fit one part of it over the end pin, the brake line connector. So one part goes right here. And these, depending on the, I'm going to actually say depending on the brand, these brake lines can be really difficult to get on there. On the Ghostbuster car, it would not have gone on there near as nicely. I'd have grabbed it with the, okay, and John said yes, that Blue Streak is Mark. But it wouldn't have gone on there near as nicely. I'd have pinched it with a pair of tweezers, and it would have crushed, and it would have been ugly. I've had that problem with the Ghostbuster car, which now I've had problems getting parts for. So it runs along the length here, and it looks like they just have it kind of hanging out for right now. Take the bracket and fit it so that the locating pin goes in the hole. Got a locating pin here, a lug here, with screw hole that goes all the way through the part. Or no, it does not, sorry. Screw hole and a cap here, so it's going to be the sorry, squirrel looking at the chat. Blue Streak, Mark says he's watching me build this and editing a video right now. That's one thing I don't do, Mark, and most people know I don't edit. And Lewis, how's it going? Good to see you. Been a while. That's, my channel. I usually have this. I run these usually at about 6 o'clock, which is way late for you guys over there in the United Kingdom, which is why I'm on at 1:30 in the afternoon for us, because you guys can show up and not have to miss out on sleep. Okay, so this goes on here like that. There's a hole here in the back, and a DP screw will go through the hole in the back. Good evening, Nat. Welcome to the stream. Sorry about switching things up, but most of my streams are now on, one's at 6 on Monday, 6 Monday Central. The other one is at 8 o'clock on Fridays Central Time. I'm going to try start, as we go forward, and especially when we get into the winter, I'll start doing more weekend streams. It's been one of these things of as we get into summer, it's difficult to stream during the day here. And let me catch up with the chat. Lewis said, "Thanks, Eric. How are you?" And missed your streams. I hope you meant, yeah, good. I hope Eric's not streaking. Eric said, "Hey to Nat." edit for time, have bad habit of stalling while talking, so I end up with lots of dead air. I do the same, you know, Mark, I do the same thing, except for the live streams. You should see, I can just talk forever. When I do my videos, what I do is I edit using my pause button. So as I'm recording, I will pause and then hit play again as I continue. No, it's not Monday, and it's a long weekend. That's why it feels like it should be Monday, John. You're not getting that old. I'm chasing right behind you. And Eric said, doing good. Oops. That's fine, Buck. Absence, yes, I'm sure. I'm sure that it does, Nat. I appreciate that. And Mark said he's the same way on live. That's the thing, is my last job while I was in the Air Force, I had to talk and talk a lot. Ask Eric. Eric can tell you what a first sergeant, how much a first sergeant will talk. So this is going to go in here like that. An EP, which is a longer screw, is going to goes through the hole in the bottom. Matter of fact, let me show you. That bracket has holes there, goes through the hole there. This arm is on the bottom. So let me get it back on there, and then I'll catch up with the chat once I get this part in. So Nat and Lewis, just in case, is Connor and I apologize, I forget your daughter's name. Are either of them on? Because if they're where they can see or hear, I will be careful with my language. I just happened to glance over at the chat. And I will, once I get this screw all the way through here, like I said, I will catch up on it. Come on, I need you to go through there. It's not lining up quite. It doesn't look like I'm going to have to back it out a little bit. While I do that, I will catch up a little bit in chat. So John said, just turned 65 June 2nd. Like I said, I'm not that far behind you. I'm 57, coming up on 58. Nat said that it's been a long time since seen either Eric and I, and there are reasons for that, and we'll leave it at that. I don't know if you I'm pretty sure that you realize, I know that several people are aware that Eric and I have kind of broken out on our own and are doing our own thing. We've got our own hobby channel on Facebook and YouTube now. So we're not on the one that we used to be at all. Come on, there we go. Got that screw lined up. See if it'll go through. There, that should do it. Eric said that he's had a lot going on. Grin. Nat's hitting on Buck. Maybe for his birthday, he'll get his divorce paper. And Lewis has been looking for divorce papers since I've known him. I don't think he's ever going to get them. Use your Nexus 5 phone to record. Can't pause it. Or it's record or stop. Maybe one day. So actually, Mark, what you should try is using a thing called Droid Cam. It'll let you use OBS with your camera off your phone. I used to use it, and because the camera on the phone is a really good camera. And with Droid Cam and OBS, you can pause, and you don't have to edit then. John said he never edits his videos. Lewis said they're both in bed, following shortly. Yep. You have to check their clock after fixing the weekend fix, or spent the weekend fixing it. That's cool. And Nat, if it's, matter of fact, let me throw it up here real quick. That's our logo. And let me find the banner that Eric said. That right there, Hobby Time Modelers, is our new channel, both on YouTube and Facebook. So you are welcome to come over, subscribe if you're interested. We're still here. We're still around. You want to check my video? Oh, thanks, Blue Streak. I appreciate it. Camera on your phone sucks. Okay. And watch YouTube, or not YouTube, but Amazon, because the camera I'm using right now was $10 on Amazon. You can have divorce papers. I'll leave them in the coffin with you. Ooh, that's a threat. And we appreciate, Lewis, we appreciate that. We love getting subs. And Eric laughed. So I'm going, sorry, Eric, I'm going to turn off the banner because it kind of is distracting me when I'm looking at the chat. Okay, so got that in there. And like I was saying, that screw right there, I had to monkey with a little bit to get it to go through. Oops. John said he got a new webcam, a Razor, loves it. Coffin can't come soon enough. Appreciate it, John. And the next part that goes on here, and it actually is going to go out on this lower arm here, and this part is going to be able to move, is the other one of the brake line connector. And as before, you got the side that's got the lug on there and the smooth side. The lug side goes up. DP screw is going to go through there for coming up from the bottom. And so, and again, plastic into plastic screws, or screws that are going into plastic. I'm not going to put oil on it. But what I am going to do, so that it's a little bit easier, so I can look at it from the top, I'm going to put a clamp on here, and then knock it over immediately. But put a clamp on here so that I can actually look at it from the top and have a clear picture, clear sight picture of it when I'm putting the screw in. Let me double check. Okay. Good thing I looked, because actually this side has the lug on the bottom and the smooth side on the top. That's why the hole on the top is a little bit smaller. It's the threaded side. Okay. See if I can get this to go in there correctly. And not tighten it so much that it can't move. So Mark said that he's told John that he will be watching the video at some point. And tell your stepson happy birthday. Whoops. Almost put Eric in timeout. John said, cool. Nat said, just joined on Facebook and subbed YouTube. Awesome. Thank you very much, Nat. Lewis subbed. Nat said, welcome. Eric said, thanks to Lewis. John just joined too. Thank you very much, John. Really appreciate it. Time for a Dr. Pepper. Eric's getting old or getting tired. Eric said, thanks, John. No Dr. Pepper, just more coffee. Eric's not allowed to have that much coffee, and I only have 1 cup a day, but I didn't drink tea the rest of the day. By the way, folks on the Facebook page for Hobby Time Modelers, if you are welcome to post models and your stuff on there as well. That's exactly why we have a Facebook. So once that's on, lower control arm, so the holes are aligned, fixed in place. I believe, let's see, position the suspension hinge over the end. It doesn't say to connect it, but I think it's supposed to be connected like that. Hey, GB. Yeah, Doc, Eric's Doc. Oops. Sorry. There we go. Eric's Doc hates it that he drinks coffee. GB popped in. Welcome, GB. Glad to see you. Told you I'd have an earlier stream for you guys. 1 cup of it is at Sunday, at church on Sunday, and he's wired for hours. 1 cup of coffee a day. Keep refilling it. I used to be that way. Eric said hey to GB. Laughed at Lewis. GB said hi back. Lewis would like, I used to be that way. I used to drink about 1/4 of a coffee a day, at least 1.5 pots. Okay, now let me make sure that that is there. It actually shows it like this, so I'm sure there's going to be some sort of positioning on the brake tube. And suspension hinge 12C over the end. The suspension arm, check the holes line. Okay, let me double check. And there's a slanted part on here that needs to go towards the rest of the arm. 12 cups of coffee in 48 hours. You had to be wired, Lewis. Need coffee to put up with that. Climbing the walls. I'm at 1 cup. The cup that now that you're retired. Same here, John. That's when I retired from the Air Force. I dropped down to 1. Well, I dropped down to 2, and now I'm down to 1. But I still drink tea all day long. So that's going to go on there like that. And it's got an FM screw on one side and an HM screw on the other. So we'll start with the FM screw on this side. Dip it in the oil. I'm sure it's going to have to be a little bit loose, but I'm not sure how loose. So that's the FM. You get the HM, dip it in oil and put it in on the other side. And here's the reason for the two separate screws. The FM is shorter than the HM, so the HM's got a little bit more to go through. Actually, I think those need to be tight, just looking at the way it is. If they need to be loose, let me see. Let me just read real quick. Make sure it positions back the right way. The bracket should be flush to the end of the arm. Slope sides. Okay. Eric has blood in his coffee stream. When he gets too much blood in his coffee stream, that's when he's just really out of sorts. And Nat says her and coffee have a weird relationship. Before we had Connor, couldn't stand coffee. After Connor, loved coffee. But after having Paige, thank you. Paige was your daughter's name. Only have coffee, drink coffee is mocha. John laughed. Lewis said, I am Eric. If I don't have coffee, I need something to keep me sane with being married. Ooh, he said, Natalie. Been good knowing you, Lewis. I find when I drink too much coffee, my hands shake so I can build then. I think you meant so you can't build then. He'll have all that coffee and he can still sleep like a snoring baby. Absolutely, I can too. A club, yes, indeed. Hoping so. You guys, your relationship always entertains me. So the last two parts, it looks like, fit the dampers on top, the suspension arm, locking pegs, one corner, different shape, circle and red. These are push fit connections, and so the cutoff corners that it's talking about go towards the outer edge. So this one will go on here. Actually, you know what? Just from the feel of it, I like the feel of it better this way. It's sometimes you have parts, plastic parts, that you can feel that they're flat on one side and rounded a little bit on the other. I prefer the flat side down, and they are push fit. It doesn't push all the way down, but the pins are just about flush. Let's see, John said yes. She never noticed that I put up with Nat. You're welcome. You are very welcome. I am here to help, Lewis. No, not your relationship, Eric. Nat and Lewis's, but yours and Lewis's is funny too. She aims to please people. I'm not reading that out loud. I'm not. Nope. I am not going to incur the wrath of Nat. So let me double check. Oh, actually, you know what? It does not show the brake line being attached. Complete stage 12. Brake line will be connected to the second brake line connector later. So this is stage 12. Stage 13 is just about the exact same thing, but on the other side of the bus. So that was the left, this will be the right. The suspension arm fell out of the plastic here. Let me close this up before I get oil everywhere. And again, these parts are probably going to play difficult to get out. They are. So let me move the arm here and do what I did before. That was not good. This is the part of the stream that Eric loves. This is where I go looking for parts that just fell under the table. Hopefully it shouldn't take too long to find them. I just need to figure out which parts I just had fall under there. Okay. Her bites worse than her bark. Go check out Model Making Trucker. Yes, absolutely. Check them out. They're great channels. Their son has a great channel as well. Connor's is Mesocyclone 6. So hang on a second here. Well, like I said, first let me figure out what parts fell under there. I think it was actually one of the brake cylinders. Okay, let me set this over here. Got this part. These two here. I'm actually looking at the, that's a different part. Looking at the magazine as I do this. Actually, I thought it was one of those. It was not. 2, 3. That. Okay, so it's actually a relatively important part. Great. And where is my light? Let's try it with phone first. Sorry guys, I will try and keep the banter going, but I've got to find this part. I felt it bounce off of my stomach and go underneath. I know it's under the table, probably went straight back. The hazards of doing live streams. Got it. You can ask the guys that have been watching for a while. On my Enterprise, I dropped 42 windows and found 41 of them. Not sure who's, okay, that Model Making Trucker. So that's Connor's. That's Model Making, that's Lewis's, that's Nat's. John said just connected to Model Making Trucker. Lewis said thank you, and Eric said anytime, brother. So here is the piece that I lost. Actually, it was bounced all the way against the, yes, check it. Should be, I don't think all of them are in the description. I will have to start adding more channels to the description. I'll get all 5 of our main guys that are, part of the StreamYard account onto my description for every video eventually. Posting new videos up shortly. Yeah. Sorry, I can't help but laugh. Okay, so let me get back to this. The EP screws. Let me put the screws away before I do anything else. Before I drop any more parts. Yeah, like I was saying, I have dropped parts on a live stream before, and on the Enterprise, they have these little tiny plastic windows. And one time I had just gotten them all set up and into the skin of the ship, and I bumped it and dropped it, and 42 little black and clear plastic windows went everywhere. I eventually found all but one. And now since then, I've actually taken all those plastic windows back out and I've redone them with resin. Appreciate that, John. So, okay, back to the build at hand. Every now and then, squirrel. That's why I've got the that, and it's summer and it's really hot out there. The blinds in front of me are all closed because we have squirrels in the yard. So this I'm going to talk through some, just push through as I'm building it, because this is exactly the same thing I just did, just the opposite side. So it'll actually go a little bit quicker. These always go a little faster the second time around. So I'm putting a little bit of oil on the CM screw, which is going to attach this part here. It's going to attach the suspension arm and the brake mount, leaving this open again with the keyway there. The brake cylinder is going to mount on here, like I showed before. There's a pin right there, 2 holes, 2 screw holes. Those screw holes and the pins line up with these. John just said he's been on YouTube since 2014, just got monetized in December. Well, congratulations on that, John. And another CM screw is going to go in there. This CM screw is going to go on the top here. I'm actually going to talk through this because I know a couple of people weren't here the first time through, and well, when I did this on the other part, and the reason that I'm putting the oil on there is it makes the screw go in a little bit easier. Eric said, "Wow, YouTube took forever." It's you got that right, and it depends, Eric. It depends on if people watch your stuff. I think it's quite an accomplishment to get 1,000 subs. So this one has the keyway there. And so it's going to go on there like this. And this time the forks are clean to where I'm not going to have to clear it out. The arm on the bottom here goes through between these forks here. I'll show you. Get it in there and then I'll turn it again so you can see it. So the arm goes through the forks there, and this part then goes up here. There's a screw hole here that's going to hold these parts together. That after I put the CM screw up at the top, and again CM, the M denotes that it's going into metal. Therefore, I will dip it in the oil. The DP does not go into metal, it only goes into plastic. $4,000 watch hours was the hardest part to get monetized. I can imagine too. That's a lot of watch hours. So the DP screw, and I'm going to plan ahead because the last time it kind of bent down. I'm going to see, get the scissors in here like I did before, up underneath this part to keep it from pushing down as I put the screw through. I just noticed, actually I've been catching it, I'll show you guys in a second, that all of these parts tell you which side they belong. Now that one did not, push away like the other one did. So most of them have, come on, focus. You see the little R there, there's an R here. Tells you which side it actually goes on. Okay, back over here. Make sure I put the cylinder on the right way. In the back, the knurl goes down. That's what I'm going to call it. The smooth side, or in the on this side, the knurl goes down. The smooth side goes, or smooth side goes up. On the back here, it goes the opposite way because the threads are actually on this side. And the hole's a little bit bigger on this side to let the screw through. Got one check since December from YouTube. Not easy to get paid. And 166.6 days. And that's not going to be quitting her job anytime soon. Nope. I know there are people out there who make a living off of YouTube. I find that is amazing that they can do that. So the DP screw. Hang on. No? Oh, that's what the problem is. I'm sitting here. Wait a minute. Sitting here looking at this, and it's actually telling me to have the oh no, I'm looking at it wrong. Sorry, I was confused from the picture. The way it looked like it was different from this one. Oh, Eric, it's a good thing she can't reach you. Just saying. So get that part back on there. So I'm going to do the same thing. I put the longer side with the CM screw on the other side. And again, these are different, shaped differently than most of them, where most of them, the attachment point comes off at the same side. Put the longer one towards the back. Tried it once, Eric. If you have sponsors on your channel, it's the only way you make money from it. There's only once. Now get back out there. So you're telling that Lewis that he should get out there. I don't know, Eric. So CM screw. I'm not going to tighten this one all the way down because it was a little bit interesting to get it in on the other side. Put the DP screw in the front, and then I'll tighten it both down. It doesn't say to leave this loose enough that it can move. I don't expect it's going to have to move. This front part I'm talking about. So yeah, I don't expect this part's going to have to move. I think it's going to just stay there. And, okay. Missed a couple. Waiting till I'm a bit older. Apparently, when you turn 50, you become sexy. So I only have 40 years to wait. They could pay him to keep his clothes on. Hey, yeah, there is that. Thank you very much, John. I really appreciate that. 3 more years to the big 5-0. Eric, 3 more years for the big 6-0 for me. Lewis can keep his hat on. Okay. Sometimes I want to say, that's too much information. So now this stiffener part is going to go on here just like it did before. With a pin there and a pin down there into the plastic. That was scary. Almost dropped this one part. And this is a push fit. Probably going to be able to get the top in first. Okay, very carefully. You do not want to break it. That's that one. And again, it's a push fit, should stay in there. And if nothing should knock it to take it off. Let's see, might be your next stream. No, no. Both John and Eric laughed. You can keep your mask on. Last time you took it off, we had a missile crisis. Oh boy. Yes, Nat should have to be paid to deal with you. Actually, she's probably like my wife. My job pays her very well. Exactly. See? So the hollow brake line goes on to the end of this connector. And like I said before, hopefully this one will just slide on the way it's supposed to. Because as soon as you start dealing with tweezers on these, they start not going on very well. You start crimping them, and you end up having to cut part of the line off. Come on. That part just popped up. I may have to do it. Okay, that's in there. Now the bottom part is not catching. The top is in, the bottom is not catching. So where's my bit of plastic? I had it and then I cleaned up to do the stream. I have a spare piece right here. So it doesn't say to glue this, but it keeps popping loose. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue, and I'm going to put the glue in from the back side. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This part here, which is solid on the other side, keeps coming loose. So I'm going to see, and it came loose on the top side as well. So let me put a little bit of glue in both holes. On the left side, it stayed in place pretty well. Make sure it's not through the hole. Okay, it is in the hole. It's not actually going through the hole like it did on the other side. Put a little drop on this side as well. What if I want to glue my backside, Eric? I suddenly have a fly in here. And it is getting warm in here. It's up to 80. So I have a portable AC in here. Let me turn it on so I don't melt. Both sides are good. Oh, wow. That did that. You would be able to get a word in edgewise every now and then. Yeah. Okay, same as before. This part actually did that. Yeah, I was wondering if that had a screw in it. So again, screw hole here with the lug, pin there, goes into that recess, and the pin, so it can only go in one way, goes on there like that. And then from the back of the part, I'm going to avoid the saying backside. From the back of the part, a DP screw goes in to hold it in place. Again, DP going into plastic, so no oil. And this time, instead, this gets an EP screw, but instead of it being the brake cylinder, this time the control lever goes between the flanges, and the flanges are pointing down. So you've got 3 arms coming off. These are going to be in towards the main arm. This part that points up is going to be on the outside, so it goes in like that. And the EP screw is going to go in from the top. Free marital counseling live stream. Okay. Maybe you need to play nicely, Lewis, while I'm cooking one of your meals or while you're away on the truck. Put some extra flavor in. Don't egg them on. Don't egg her on, Eric. We want Lewis to come back. See? See what I'm saying? So get this screw through here. It's not wanting to play nice. Try this again. Can you drop down my link? Oh, drop it. Yes. If Lewis gets knocked off, you get all his models. Well, there is that. I think you finally figured out that Andrea is not going to take me out, so you can't get my models that way. If everybody take a look and join John's YouTube channel. There's the link. She comes with them, though, Eric. And you have to fight Kaylin. John said, thanks. Kaylin wins, and you bet, John. Yeah, well, from listening to Kaylin on his channel, I don't know if he would be up to dealing with both Nat and Melissa at the same time. That could be really, really rough on a guy. I'm trying to make sure I get this hole lined up. I think I actually did this time with the first shot. Lois just subbed to John. Thank you, John. Appreciate supporting our community out there. So now this time, so I've got 3 arms on here this time, and the brake cylinder is going to go on this one here, with the larger part, the smooth part towards the top, the larger part towards the bottom, which is where the screw goes through. Get a DP screw for that. John said thank you to Lewis. He said he watches a lot of channels. I do too, John. That's why I'm 6 months behind on watching. I have 173 channels that I watch, something like that. That's the last time I looked. There was like 173 on there. That's when I use the clamps. That's right. Use the clamp. I'm actually going to see if I can get the screw threaded in first. Not threaded in, but just pushed through. Actually, it does thread. At the top here. Gently, ever so gently. I think that's started. Now let me just make sure that it goes through the bottom and actually catches on both sides. It's starting to bend out there. Doing the same thing again, which it's even more difficult having it on this little piece here. Okay, it's not pushing out. So that's tight. Check if you have second brake line connected the right way. Raise socket should be tasted. Yep. Leave that off still. Position the suspension hinge. Again, the same way. Slanted parts towards the rest of the arm. Make sure they're like that. It is very hard when everybody goes live at the same time. So Nat said she subbed to John, which is cool, and very hard when everybody goes live at the same time. So QM2, you can see Eric said that he's doing the third repaint on the hull OCD, and he actually had a lot of cracking. And on mine, the hull paint is done, and I've started to decal. I did find, and I've talked to somebody that actually made it work, this part of this decal here is actually part of this one. It just wouldn't line up for me. So I put it on this side. I'm going to do the same with the other, and I have some touch-up paint for it. And then I've got 3 out of the 4. I'm afraid of the 4th one. Haven't yet worked on it. I'll show you why. This actually has to wrap around the hull. Not only on the side, but around the hull. I'm actually going to cut it here, apply this part, and then apply this part to the bottom so that hopefully I will be able to get it to line up. And that's where the QM2 is. Thank you for asking. Okay, that's sidetracked. Squirrel. So on this side, let me double check. Yes, the CM or FM, sorry. FM screw is going to go on this side here, the side that's up towards me. If I can make sure it lines up. And it's to make sure that this side is flush, and the two different size screws are because of the different thicknesses of the metal. And that's HM. Dipping it in oil so that it will thread well. The burgundy on the bottom is the anti-fouling. That red stripe on the side is more showing where the water line is. And yeah, I'm going to have to use some Solvaset. On the bow GB, there's not going to be much I can do. I'm going to use Solvaset on the aft there and make sure, you know, I will get it together, and then I have basically the same color, or it should be close enough that I can, if I have to, I can touch up anywhere that the decal doesn't look right. And it's okay. It's okay, Lewis. I do not mind being sidetracked at all. Okay. Put these last two parts on. And again, the cutoff corner goes down towards the bottom and in. So go on. One there. I just looked at the holes. I might be putting these on upside down, but that's my preference on how they go, because it looks like the holes might be larger on one side than the other. But those are on there now. And so both of the rear suspension arms are done. Next parts. Stage 14. Don't know if I'm going to need more super glue. Set that off to the side. Close that. Let me see if I can not drop any parts this time. Stage 14 is all in the clear plastic. Almost got rid of screws. We've got GM, MM, FM, and CM screws. We go ahead and take care of the MM and NM screws because they need their own. They need their own slot in the screw box. Eric's going to be painting his instead of doing the decals. And Lewis asked what caused the paint to crackle, and the paint disagreed with itself, because if I remember right, Eric used the same brand of paint, and it just, for some reason, it for some reason just didn't agree with itself. But actually, there was kind of an impromptu stream right before this one that Eric did to, checking out some of the features of StreamYard. And I popped on and he showed his Queen Mary and talked about it. And I you know, I showed mine a little bit. He's getting it fixed really well. Yeah, and I use the rattle can Rust-Oleum a lot too. I do have to say I have one time had the same issue like you did. It was on my Enterprise that I never fixed or finished, and I was able to get it to clean up. And using exact same paint cans, it cleared. You know, when I redid it, it was perfect. Never have finished that model. So here are all the axle parts. Got the rear axle, differential cover. Let's see. Trailing arm. There's 14D, trailing arm base. It's got to be the crossbar. Cross rod. And where is... these are adapters. John says he uses airbrush for most of his painting, and Eric said that just learning on the airbrush. It's kind of funny. I have an airbrush. I've had an airbrush for years. I don't use it near as much as I should. So take the trailing arm, noting the end of the smaller holes fits between the trailing arm base. So it's got larger holes and smaller holes on the trailing arm. Trailing arm base will fit through here like this. Line up the screw holes, and 2 times FM screws goes in there. So let me get both of those out. Bring the oil back over. Trailing arm, actually, hopefully I'm putting it on right because it doesn't show whether it should be canted inwards or canted outwards. I believe, let's see, arm is away from the base. Okay. So it goes on there like that, canted away from the base. Wow. Not sure what just happened out there. But I do hear a dog drinking, so I think one of the dogs knocked something over, or my grandson did. Come on, thread in there. John said, love the green stuff chrome paint. It's the best stuff out there. Lewis said he's using the airbrush. Takes forever doing ships with a 0.5 needle. It does. Same brand is probably down to the thinner they used in this spray can. Sometimes they use different thinners for different colors. Had the same problem. GB's had the same problem several times. Eric laughed, and Eric said, yeah, I used gray primer, then the color. Actually, you know what? I wonder if that might have been the problem, Eric, because most of the 2X colors say that they're primer as well. So your primer inside of both the 2X cans may have interrupted or interfered with each other. Okay, so take the axle itself and the differential housing. And there's a couple of lugs there, a couple of lugs there. The lugs inside actually have screw holes to the outside, or the lugs in the axle actually have screw holes on the inside. These are going to line up like so. believe they should line up. Yeah, I'm pushing them left and right, and they're actually holding together. And then 2 times GM screws. Where did you just fall? I have spares, so I'm not going to go digging for it right now, but somewhere in here is a misfiled screw. I believe it's that one. I had one of the GM screws drop off into the MM screw container. John says, hardly ever use primer. I use primer depending on, it depends on what I'm doing. I do primer a lot, but if I'm going to actually airbrush, I've found that you don't have to use primer unless it doesn't stick to the plastic at first. That's the one thing I like about the 2X, is that it's got the primer built, in the paint at the same time. Got that one in there. Got this one in the oil. Put that one in there. Wow. 87 degrees outside. Eric's agreeing with me. I think it might be. It's the 2 different kinds of primer. The red and the gray primer. But it shouldn't, you're right, because they were the same brand. So, differential is connected to each other. Not sure what looks like a drain pipe is. I am pretty sure, actually that's not going to be a drain pipe. That's going to go up against the base of the bus, because they usually put these holes where you can't see them. So Nat says that they use primer, or Mr. Hobby, for all their models as primer and never had a problem. Might have to try that. I've not used Mr. Hobby before. So take the crossbar. And it's got it this way. And these adapters so you can actually see it. So there's the adapter. It's got 2 screw holes in it. Actually, the screw hole in the middle is, I think, what it's adapting. You got the screw hole at the top right now. I turn it over, there's a pin there. So I believe it goes on here with the pin towards me. Yeah, because the screw, let me show you on here. Take that back off. So on the cross member, you've got the pinhole and the screw hole on either side, but the screw hole actually goes through, and it's in different places on either end. So I put this back in here if I can. Tiny parts, big fingers. Okay, and it lines up like that. You can see the screw hole. Set that down. Let me catch up with the chat because you guys are chatting away here. So Eric said it's 28 or 28 degrees C there, 84 Fahrenheit. It's 88 Fahrenheit here. Don't know what C. Primer, sometimes they use rubber type of thinners, not defined as normal paint colors. Repainting a Vulcan bomber had the real one had used one type of paint all the way through, then we ran out. Way too hot. 88 here today. It's going to get over 100 later on this week. Paint got different brand to finish off, and it reacted with it was thin, different with different type of thinner, so it reacted. Thinning agent has to be it. Hit 30 C last week, and yeah, absolutely. Predicted pain. Jack's pain in the rear. Eric says it's beautiful. It's tanning weather. With his, we'll call it an SIG. That's what we're going to call that icon there for you, Eric. So let me get an NM screw. And these are very short. Very short, very tiny screws. As a matter of fact, you need to use the smaller screwdriver. Very small screw. Put a little bit of oil here. Get this one tightened down. You can't see it, but it does protrude pretty close to, or come all pretty close to protruding out of there. Turn this one over. Put it in, canted the opposite direction to where the screw hole is actually towards me rather than away from me. Get another NM screw. Dip it in some oil. And tighten her on down. John said, 3 tornadoes here in Canada. Unreal for Canada, absolutely. Sounds nice with AC. British houses don't have it built in. Whole house just bakes. Very similar to when I was in Germany, Nat. And the AC that I have, good. Let me loosen this one up. The pin popped up while I wasn't paying attention. The AC that I'm running right now is not, we have AC for the whole house, and I have a portable air conditioner here in the shop. There, that's got that down. I've got a portable air conditioner here in the shop in case it gets too warm because, like I said, it was hitting 80 in here because it's 90 outside. And here in the States, we're a bunch of wimps. Every house has AC in it. Those just look so funky. But okay, I see it, what the adapters are for. I'm sure that when this gets screws into it, the screws are going to come from this side, because if it comes from this side, those little pieces of metal are just going to snap right off. Okay, so now take the right rear suspension. Good thing it has an R on it, so I know which one it is. Take the axle, slides in through here like that. The axle through the hole. Okay. Just making sure everything's lined up right, and it goes in there like that. So I'm sure that the next part is, oh, it is not. That's why you read the directions. That's empty. Well, and that's why you take the right one first. Is because that's the right one is the one with the arm that matches the two brake cylinders together. No, actually it doesn't. I'm just looking at the instructions. Cross rod, note the position, locator peg, and the inset. So the locator peg actually, John, I do. The my display case is an entire room in our house. We have a what is it? It's 12 by 14 room in front of the house that is my display room when I finally get it completely set up. We're buying some shelves for it this week. And I've already got the large scale Millennium Falcon on there, up in there. The X-Wing is not yet hung on the wall. It needs to be. Let me see. Okay, there's the pin. I'll show you guys there. There's the pinhole and the screw hole. This pin goes here like this. Put the screw through. But yeah, and included in things that are going to go in there is a 200 scale Titanic. There's already a Lego Titanic in there, which basically works out to being another 200 scale Titanic. Since in Holland had no AC built in ever. Yeah, same. Germany, there was no apartments, no houses that had AC. But yeah, since it's just me and my wife and currently my grandson, eventually he will move on. We're down to where we're close to it being just the two of us. So we can do things like that with the house. And I've got one room for just my model display. My wife is going to have a room for her stained glass. Let's see. Sorry, reading. Never go back from central heat and air. No, absolutely not. We're going to this way, so that way. The larger hole is on this side. So I'm going to take this, turn it around. It says to run the brake line. Oh, okay, I see what it's saying. Now I see. That's why it wasn't hooked up yet. So the brake line actually runs through okay, let me double check. Runs through part 13K. Large hole in 14, so it also passes the hole. Okay, these adapters are not for screws. These adapters, that hole is not for a screw. That hole, you feed it through here, is where the brake line goes through. That would be very cool, John. I take it you have family over there, and so it'll go on there like that. then fit the free end of the, well, crud. I'm going to have to do some surgery there. It says to fit it on the pin here, but the pin is broken off. You get an screw. And I think I actually, during moving parts around, I actually broke that pin off. Set this up here like this. Lived in Holland for 3 years, from 15 till 18. Very cool. I did put this in oil, so it should go in, maybe not easily, but okay. Because the paint on the arm, it was a little bit funky. And then, of course, I dropped the axle out. Let me get this tightened down. Let me see what I can do here. The only way to fix that I've been a few places in Europe. I spent about 16 years, no, 14 years in Europe while I was in the Air Force. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and glue this on. If it doesn't work, I'll end up drilling a hole in this piece to put it in there later. Take a little bit more glue. And that should cure pretty quick. Matter of fact, I liked Europe so much, I brought my wife home from there. That looks like it should work. If it torques it too much, it may break off. It actually looks like it might. Let's see if I can get this brake line positioned where it should stay. That should work. Longer side over here. Love the different foods and customs. Absolutely. Matter of fact, that's part of what made me fall in love with my wife. She is an awesome cook. Okay, so let's see. Do the exact same thing on the left-hand side. And it's not broken off, fortunately. History of Europe is amazing. Yes, it is. Well, actually, the Holland is the Netherlands, isn't it? Because I have been to the Netherlands. So let me see if I can get this thing. This pipe, or brake line, needs to thread through. Got it. Okay, so yes, I have been to Holland as well. Spent a couple of trips with the Air Force in Holland. So this is going to be a trick, lining both of these up at the same time, especially because that one's off. Okay, that's got it. Brake lines through. Amsterdam, bars were open till 5 a.m. Turn this to where I can see a little bit better. MM and a CM screw. Just one CM. Hopefully that doesn't pop apart while I'm putting oil on it. Spain's like that too, actually. Spain, when I was TDY there, which TDY is temporary duty, TDY there with the Air Force, it was in Spain, and the bars, certain bars closed at midnight, certain bars closed at 5 a.m., but usually there was another bar that was opening up at the same time. So when bars closed at 5 a.m., another one was opening. Knew a few guys that during that trip, they went in when it was daylight and they didn't come back out until it was daylight. Well known for building bridges. All right, tighten this down. Like I said, well known for building bridges in Holland. So once that's on there, and it's funny how they show that the brake lines are actually lined up really well. Now they show in the book or in the instructions, the brake lines are not overly long like these are. So that's on there. Pull that down a little bit. There's another part there. The other part right here, eventually that's going to have to come out and be attached to something. Unlike this one, which is towards the back. And with as long as these brake lines are, I will probably pull them loose, especially this one that I had to glue, pull them loose and cut the lines a little bit. Actually, I was never based in the UK. I wished I had been. Like I said, I was never based in the UK. I caught a ride back from Al Dhafra in the Middle East when I was out there. Went through Bentwaters. Went through Bentwaters overnight. Spent one night in the UK. Unfortunately, that's all I've ever been there. I would love to have been there longer. And just going by me, I fell in by by to you to why you fell in fell in love with your wife. I didn't fall in love with Nat because of her cooking. She couldn't cook when we met. Andrea can cook. Andrea, I gained 30 pounds after we got married. And that is very sweet there, Lewis. I can tell, and I can tell you guys have got a really strong relationship. So, got the a major portion of the suspension done today. I was actually set up to do 4, but I usually do only about a 2-hour stream. Let me switch cameras. Well, let me show you guys where we're at. And Lewis, all guys are a bit of an arsehole. So there's the suspension that I just finished. It's actually going to fit in the bus like this being the top. This is going to rotate like that. Not positive where this arm is going to go. Let me get the rest of what I've done so far. There's the front. Close that up so I don't spill any of it. There's the front suspension. It actually would go on like that. The beginning of the stairs up to the second deck, which should fit. Now, I don't have the parts yet for here. Actually, I'm guessing it's probably going to be more like out here. The front 3/4 of the fenders and the hood. So the bus is coming along. Thanks, John. And thanks, Eric. Let me switch cameras real quick. So, bus is coming along. Right now, not working on the Enterprise a whole lot. I will get back to it. I'm got burnout on the Enterprise. And thank you, Nat. So I'm got a little bit burned out on the Enterprise. So I'm working on the bus. Probably will start working on the Enterprise again by the end of summer. It's, there's a lot to the Enterprise now since I'm redoing the windows. Not going to go as far as Todd from Marvel Phoenix is, but going to making some adjustments to make it look better. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed doing. Let's see. Long way to go. Yep. Actually, let's see. I just finished stage 14 out of 120. So 1/10. This is actually 1/10 of the way. So, like I was saying, appreciate you guys stopping by. I really hope you enjoy this. If you do, like and subscribe. I will be on again today, Sunday. I'll be on tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Time in the U.S. doing about another 3 to 4 stages, however far I get in 2 hours. Enjoying this. Enjoy the company of you guys stopping by and chatting while I'm building. Hope to see you again tomorrow. If not, I understand those of you in the UK, if you don't make it, have a great weekend, or weekend's over pretty much. Have a great week. Take care of yourselves out there. Let me look at the chat one more time. Enjoyed what? Wait, were you building something? Yes, I was, Eric. And great stream, bud. Good to be able to watch. Thank you, Lewis. Thanks, Nat. Look forward to seeing you next week. Probably won't be doing a Sunday stream next week because, like I said, with the summer, lots going on. Weekends are pretty full. And thanks, John. Really appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, guys, and I will talk to you next time.